Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Court. Today we have a very special video, thus my computer. We are tier ranking every single 5-star I have ever had since the dawn of time. Since the dawn of my time. I'm not 2,000 years old. There are 115 since I've started reading. I'm probably missing some from like a long time ago, from like middle school era, but that's okay. These are like the ones that I remember. These are the ones that I have rated 5 stars since getting my Goodreads. So, and I've had my Goodreads since, I don't know, a long time. So we are going to tier rank all of the 5-star books that I have had. Let's get into the tiers so we can do this, because that's a lot of books that we gotta get into. At the very bottom, The Old Me. This is something that I would not rate 5 stars if I read it today. Probably wouldn't even pick it up today. That was The Old Me. That was getting back into reading, Courtney. That was The Old Me. Next up, we have Defined My Reading Taste. These are books that I probably won't ever reread, but they are 5 stars. These defined my reading taste in middle school. They will stick with me. They are what got me into reading in the first place, that kind of thing. Next up, I was emotional, okay? These are emotional reads that I rated 5 stars. I felt every single emotion reading these books. I will always relate an emotional response to this book. It is 5 stars. Next up, Silly Goofy Fun Time. Not everyone will rate this 5 stars, but I did because I had a silly, goofy, fun time, and it was just that. Sue me. Next up, Solid 5-star. This is a solid 5-star book. I rated it 5 stars. I probably have recommended it a multitude of times. It's just a solid 5-star. And finally, on the very, very top, we have Bury Me With These Books. These are my 6-star reads. These are the books that I absolutely love and I will not shut up about. These are 6 stars. These are books that I think about constantly. My God tiers, if you will. So those are the tiers. I'm going to start the screen recording and we are going to get in to tier ranking all 115 books. Alright, here we go. This is so exciting. Okay, so I tried to group the ones that I needed to group together. Just stick with me. I will explain. I tried to make this as easy and painless as possible. Starting off, The Fault in Our Stars. I read this when I was like 13. We're putting it in Defined My Reading Taste. This was a staple when I was a teenager. I had the Tumblr okay posts all over everything. I went to see the movie the day it came out, the night it came out. Like, I begged to go. I paid for my movie ticket. I was like, I have money for my movie ticket. Please just let me go see it. I was obsessed. I read the book like 3 times before the movie even came out. That's how obsessed with this book I was. And now I just love John Green. I read a bunch of his books. I read his newest book, Everything is Tuberculosis. Before it came out, I got an art copy of that book. This defined my reading taste, so it's gonna go there. We Were Liars. This could go in The Old Me or I Was Emotional. I'm not sure which one I want to put it in because I have fond memories of this book. I really liked it when I read it, but I have a feeling that were I to reread it, I wouldn't like it because I already know what's going to happen. And if I were to read it the first time right now, I wouldn't like it as much as I did when I read it the first time when I was like 18. So for that reason, we're going to put it in The Old Me. Just know I have fond memories of this book, and it is a 5-star for me, personally. But that's why I won't pick it up and reread it again. That's why I am scared to even watch the show, to be honest. Okay, and then we have every single Colleen Hoover book that I rated 5 stars. I think. I don't think that I've missed any. If you see any in here, let me know. Now, these are the ones that I rated 5 stars. I read most of them that she has out. These are the ones that I rated 5 stars when I read them. Ugly Love was my favorite for some reason. I don't know why. That was like, this is my book, this is my favorite. November 9th was like the second one that I read, and I don't remember a lot about this book. Heartbones, I read the most recently. Like, that was the last Colleen Hoover book that I read. So, interesting. Regretting You, I know the movie for this just came out, and I haven't seen that. But, or it's about to come out, one of the two. Otherwise, couldn't tell you what that's about either. I think I get this and this mixed up. And this and this. These all kind of just blur in my mind, besides Verity. And I know the movie for Verity is coming out soon too, which is crazy. But we're just going to put all of these in the old me. Verity could arguably go up here because it defined my thriller reading taste. And it is like a staple to get into thrillers and to get into the booktok world when I first got into booktok. But again, if I were to reread it, I don't think I would rate it nearly as high. So we're just going to put those there. And that's where it's going to go. The Love Hypothesis. I read this right after I read all of these Colleen Hoover books. This was like the first branch out of Colleen Hoover world. This is what I read. It was a wild jump to jump from Colleen Hoover to Ali Hazelwood, I know, but this still hits today. This is silly, goofy, fun time. And I cannot wait for the movie. And I plan to do a reread, and I know it's going to hit just as hard when I reread it. Even though I read it 4 or 5 years ago, it's still going to hit as hard. Red, White, and Royal Blue. This is just a solid 5-star. This, the movie, everything about this book, solid 5-star book. I am obsessed with Alex and Henry. I've read this 3 times. I read it originally, I reread it because I loved it so much, and then I read it before I watched the movie again. So I think I've read it 3 times. It hits every single time. It's just a solid 5-star book, romance. If you haven't read it, pick it up and watch the movie because the movie's so good, and the second movie is coming out. A lot of these have movies, I'm realizing. Hook, Line, and Sinker. This is like the only Tessa Bailey book that I rated 5 stars. I read It Happened One Summer, and I originally gave it 5 stars, but I bumped it down because I didn't like it as much as I liked this book. I don't know where I want to put this because I really liked this when I read it. I don't think I will ever pick it up again. And if I did pick it up, I don't think I would like it as much. We could put it up here because we could say that it defined my romance taste, but I don't think it deserves that much credit. So it's going to go there. Similarly, with the cheat sheet, I read this right around the time that I was reading Hook, Line, and Sinker and The Love Hypothesis and those kind of books. I don't think I would rate it 5 stars. So it's going to go there because I've read more Sarah Adams and it hasn't been 5 stars, and I know exactly what this book is about because it is a booktok staple, and I don't think that if it was so popular on booktok, I would remember what it was about. Malibu Rising. This was my first Taylor Jenkins Reid book, and I absolutely ate it up. It was also my first kind of dive into audiobooks when I was starting out with Libby and figuring out if I liked audiobooks and all of that. I can literally picture in my mind working at Walmart. I worked in the pickup department, and I would go pick groceries, and I was listening to this. I was listening to the cheat sheet. I was listening to Emily Henry for the first time. I remember that so vividly, and this was one that I've initially listened to the audiobook, and it was one of my first audiobooks ever. And so I'm just going to put this in solid 5-star because the audiobook seriously made this what it is for me, and I had such a good time with this book. It's not everybody's favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's not even the best Taylor Jenkins Reid to me personally, but this was what got me into audiobooks, so it deserves its praise. The Cruel Prince. I was feral for the Cruel Prince series. This is my first dive into fantasy. I didn't start with ACOTAR, I started with the Cruel Prince, so I was literally feral, foaming at the mouth for this series. I think I'm gonna put it into Find My Reading Taste because this book, I don't know what it is about this series, and I want to reread it so bad. And I think it would still live up to, for me personally, because I'm just easily entertained. Obviously, I have 115 5-star reads here, but I do believe that there's something about this series. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll reread it and I'll hate it now that I've read more fantasy, but I can vividly remember everything about this series, and I read all 3 books in like a week. I was feral. Plus the novella, the 2 novellas that go with this, like The Lost Sisters and the How the King of Elfheim Did Something. Read it all in a week. I was feral, so it's gonna go there because I wouldn't read fantasy. I probably would. I would have just started with ACOTAR, but it deserves its credit. Okay, and then we have all 5-star Emily Henry books. I did not rate Funny Story 5 stars, and I have not read Great Big Beautiful Life, so that's why those 2 are not on here, but every single other Emily Henry book is 5 stars to me. Even People We Meet on Vacation, I'm a People We Meet on Vacation stan, and I need people to realize that it is a good book. Okay, thank you. This one defined my reading taste. This was the first Emily Henry book I read, and this is what made me want to stray away from Colleen Hoover books and more into women's fiction type romance books, and kind of what led me down the path to find better written romance books. So that's where it's going to go, and that's why it gets that credit. But all of these are just solid 5 stars. All of those. Solid 5 stars. I'm absolutely obsessed with them. This is also a solid 5 star. People We Meet on Vacation, but just know I'm an Emily Henry stan. Happy Place is my personal favorite, but all of these are good. Happy Place, Book Lovers, and then Beach Read, and then People We Meet on Vacation, and then Funny Story. That's my ranking right now. I plan to do a full reread of all of Emily Henry's books, including Great Big Beautiful Life, and then we'll rank them. If you want to see that video, let me know. The Spanish Love Deception. This, along with the Love Hypothesis, is just a silly, goofy, fun time. So that's where it's gonna go. And the American Roommate Experiment. I like this one a lot more than I like the Spanish Love Deception, but these are just cute. I love them. They are, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but if I read this one today, I don't think I would rate it as high, but there was something about Rosie in this book that really stuck with me, and I think about it to this day. So these are going to go in silly, goofy, fun time because I loved it. Next up, we have Merry Xmas. This book, I remember vividly reading it in my car on breaks, like picking it up every single 15-minute break, every single lunch break. When I first moved to Arizona and got my first job here, this one was just so cute and I really enjoyed it. It's going to go in solid 5 star. The emotions that it brought out of me, the romance that was just so cute, so sweet, it's so wholesome. It's just a solid 5 star. I could not put this book down. I think if I reread it, it would live up to the holly jolliness, to the wholesomeness, and everything that I was looking for when I was reading it was there, so it's gonna go in solid 5 star. You Deserve Each Other. This is going to be our first Bury Me with this book. This romance book, I don't talk about this book a lot, but I love this book. I listened to the audiobook the first time that I read this book, and it has stuck with me so vividly. And the little mannerisms and the way our main characters tried to push each other away and then still rekindle their relationship is something that I've never seen done before. I've never found another book like this. I keep searching for books like this. If you have recommendations, please let me know. But this book is something special. The romance, the banter, the like silly goofiness of it, but also the emotional tension and depth of it is so like real and raw, and just it blew me away when I read it. And so if I had to pick, this is one of my top romances. I need to get a like actual copy of this book so I can reread it. I haven't read this book in probably 3 years, 4 years, but I could probably tell you front to back what happens in the entire book. That's how much it stuck with me. I love that book. All the Dangerous Things. This, kind of like I mentioned earlier about Verity, defined my reading taste for thrillers. This is one of the very first thrillers that really got me. I read this before I read Frida, before I read any other thrillers. This was kind of the first thriller that I picked up, and I was like, oh my gosh, I like thrillers. Every other thriller that I picked up, I could guess the ending, and that's usually what happens with me. But this one got me, and I was like hooked, and I was like, this is the type of thriller that I love. So I rated it 5 stars. I've rated all of Stacey Willingham's books really high, and this one was 5 stars, and it defined my thriller reading taste because it was just so good. And the ending shocked me. I'm pretty sure I finished the book and I had to like go on all of the social media apps and to like feel validated that I was so shocked by the ending, because it was crazy. A Guide to Being Just Friends by Sophie Sullivan. This book, oh my gosh. I read this right around the time I was reading Merry Xmas. I don't know what was in this book, but it just made me so giddy. And I had such a cute, fun time with it. So we're going to put it in Silly Goofy Fun Time because it was just that. And it made me dive into Sophie Sullivan's other work. And I just had such a great time. I was in a big romance era right around these times. So I just had such a good time. It was so like cutesy. That's what it is. That's how I can define it. It's just cutesy and it made me giddy. That's really all. Again, I am easily entertained. Speechless by Lindsay Lanza. This book is so good. I'm pretty sure A Little Magic is on here too. Let me just put these beside each other because this is the same author. This is the same author, Speechless and A Little Magic. They both have disability representation, I believe, and Jewish representation, and just all kinds of representation. And it was kind of my first dive into indie romance, and I had such a good time. It was also my first time being able to like reach out to the author and getting a response like, thank you for reading my book, I'm so glad you liked it. And now like I read anything Lindsay writes. I always order her books from her Etsy shop. This was my intro to indie authors, and I am so thankful because I found some of the best books on here are indie books, and it all started with Speechless, and I'm so grateful. So this is a solid 5 star. This is a solid 5 star. They are romances. They are just the cutest thing, and they are romances, and they are indie published still to this day. Go check them out. I believe they're on Kindle Unlimited. If you have Kindle Unlimited, do yourself a favor. Let this be your intro to indie romance like it was mine. If you have never read indie, you'll thank me. Moving on, we have the fine print terms and conditions. I didn't read Final Offer. I haven't yet. Like, I haven't read Final Offer yet as of today, right now. It's interesting that these two are 5 stars because I don't think that they would be 5 stars today. So we're going to put this in the old me because I just don't think I would rate these 5 stars. This is not the romance that I would read today. This is not what I gravitate towards, and this is probably why I haven't read Final Offer yet. I do want to read it just to finish the series out, but the trope heavy romance, I just don't think it's for me. So we're gonna put it in the old me. It's very booktok, very beginning of my reading era-esque. So that's where it's gonna go. If you like these, no shade. I rated them 5 stars when I read them. I just think if I would reread them, they would not live up to what they were when I was a feral romance reader in the beginning of my reading era. Curated, Nellie Wilson. Bury me with this book. This is an indie published romance book. It is curated by Nellie Wilson. It is on Kindle Unlimited. I have read this book 3 or 4 times now. I am obsessed with the mental health representation in this book, and it is everything to me. And I cannot recommend this book enough. I have talked about this book several times on my channel if you're not new, and I need everyone to read it. Thank you. Hidden Pictures. This is a horror thriller book, and it's kind of crazy. I read this with my book club a long time ago, or a buddy read this with some friends a long time ago, and that was kind of my first dive into horror, and it was definitely interesting. I don't know if it would be 5 stars if I would read it today. I listened to the audio. It was very good, but I'm gonna put it here because this was kind of my gateway into horror. So yeah, I think it should go there. The Two of Us by Taylor Torres. This is another indie romance book that's gonna go up here. This is very emotional. It is up on my favorite shelf, and I read this book and it put me in the worst book hangover that I immediately reread it. Immediately. Put the book down, waited a day, picked it back up, reread it again. 5 stars, both times. This book is so emotional. This is a second chance romance. It's an indie published romance. It's so good. I don't know how else I can convince you to read that other than I couldn't read anything else, so I had to reread it. You and I Rewritten by Chip Pons. This is another indie published romance book. It is indie published romance. This is just a solid 5 star. It is very emotional. There are some triggers in it, so please check your trigger warnings. But it deals with representation like I've never seen in books before, and I feel like indie romance does that in such a way that traditionally published books don't, because it can get down to the nitty-gritty sometimes, especially in romance, and it can just be vulnerable and real, and that's why I love them so much, and this book highlights that really, really well. Archer's Voice. This is by Mia Sheridan. This is going in, I was emotional, okay? Because the ending of this book was like whiplash. I don't know if I would reread this if it would remain 5 stars, but upon my first reread, I was in shock, and there was so much going on. There's just so much put into this book. It was good. I just don't know if I would reread it and it would still be 5 stars, but it definitely made me emotional. Bloodstream by Austin Hoyle. This is another indie book, but it is sci-fi. It was my first kind of dip into sci-fi and indie books that are not romance books, and I really, really enjoyed it. We're gonna put it in solid 5 star. I would reread this book. It is very, very good, and it made me want to branch out genre-wise a lot more and just put my trust in reading more diversely and different genres that are not necessarily in my comfort zone. It was really good. It's sci-fi, and I couldn't put the book down. It made me keep reading. I remember Buddy reading it with a friend, and both of us were like, do you care if we read ahead? Because we just couldn't put it down. That's how good it was. Okay, and then we have the entire Windy City series. This is going to go in solid 5 star as well. Every single one of them is going to go in solid 5 star. This is just an amazing series. I don't think I've ever rated an entire series 5 stars like I've rated the Windy City series 5 stars. It is so good. This is immaculate. The entire found family, the entire I can't put into words how much this series means to me. The found family, the hope that it brings, the representation that it has. It just has everything. If I had to pick a favorite, it would either be The Right Move or Play Along. The Right Move is probably my top because Indy Ivers and Ryan Shea. I'm gonna get emotional. This series is so good. And thinking about that it's over really hurts my feelings. But I don't think I've ever read an entire series that's been 5 stars, except Windy City, which is high praise. I cannot wait for the spinoff book that comes out later this year. because I know that's going to be 5 stars. I just know. Then we have all of Hannah Bottom Young's books except Out of the Woods. I haven't read People Watching yet. Next of Kin, Next to You, Out on a Limb, and Straight, Set the Record Straight. These are all by Hannah Bottom Young. I read all of these when they were indie published for the first time, and now they are all traditionally published, except this one I think is still indie published. It just has a new cover. And honestly, they're all just solid 5 stars. If I had to pick a favorite by Hannah Bottom Young, it would be Next to You, which, shocker, because a lot of people would say it would be Out on a Limb, but Next to You is probably my favorite because of the familial representation that we see in this book and the way that family is talked about. I really enjoyed in this book. Hannah Bottom Young, another author that I just love their writing so much, and I put my trust in completely. So I'll just solid 5 stars. All Downhill with You, I just lied to you. I rated every book in this series 5 stars, and I didn't want to put every single book on here because I got lazy and bored when I was pulling the pictures, so I just put the first one. But I did lie to you because there's several series where I rated everything 5 stars, and this is one of them. This is a indie published series by Julia Olivia. This is the author that wrote If It Makes You Happy, if you've seen that book. It's the Honeywood Fun Park series, and I read it a while ago, and it is just a cute trope-filled romance series that is set at this theme park, and it just got me. And it is all just a silly, goofy, fun time. There are representation in it, and there is lots of different things in it, lots of different tropes, but it is just a silly, goofy, fun time. And I loved all of the books when I read them. Next we have Delilah Green Doesn't Care and Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail. Astrid Parker is my favorite, but I did love Delilah Green. I read both of these, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago, and this is what got me into reading sapphic books. Both of these deserve to go up here, solid 5 star. Astrid Parker I like just a little bit more because me and Astrid Parker, the same. But I really did enjoy both of these. And I haven't read from Ashley Herring Blake since, and I should pick up more of her books because I think she has more just like coming out still. I should give her books another shot and see if they would be 5 stars still. Might do that social experiment where I read books from an author I haven't read in a long time that used to be 5 stars when I first started reading, and then see if their writing is still 5 stars to me. That might be a good video idea. Next up we have 2 Jennifer Hartman books. We have Lotus and Still Beating. Lotus is the first book I read by Jennifer Hartman, and then I dove into Still Beating, which was heavy on booktok. Both of these have heavy trigger warnings. Please check them. They are dark romance, and this was kind of my dive into dark romance. I really liked Lotus, but I'm going to put both of these, and I was emotional because were I to reread these, I don't know if they would be 5 stars, but I do think they have potential to still be 5 stars. I just remember being so emotional and so like heart shattered from these books because they're so crazy. I don't know. It's hard to say that they're good because they deal with such heavy topics that are gruesome and awful, but it gives me hope when I read books like this that you can overcome certain things and still be a decent human, find love, and just, find purpose in your life. So we're just gonna put those there. This is Brother. This is another horror book. This I read not that long ago, maybe like the end of 2024. And I remember just being shocked the entire time I read this book. Like, I genuinely was like heart racing, shocking, didn't want to stop reading this book, but it is a horror book. So I was like, the whole time as well. So we're just gonna put it in solid 5 star because I do think it is a solid 5 stars, and I did enjoy my time reading this book, but it is crazy. for a horror book. It was like so shocking every turn and every second. Then we have 4 books by Candy Steiner. This is from the Red Zone Rival series. There is one more book in this series that I did not rate 5 stars. That's why we have all 4 of these here. We have Fair Catch, Blindside, Quarterback Sneak, and Hail Mary. My favorite is Blindside and then Hail Mary. I really, really enjoyed these books. They are just kind of like Windy City, but they're college football only. And we're just gonna put them here because they are so good. The last book, not so much. But these, yes. Just stop after Hail Mary because the last book is not good. But these 4, yes, 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 especially Blindside. And they're interconnected, so if you only want to read one, you can only read one, but I read them in order and it made it so much better. And I think that's why I liked it so much. The September House. This is a solid 5 star. This is the best thriller that I've ever read. This is the best thriller that I have ever read. I remember not being able to put this book down. I was going into the grocery store listening to this book, and I was on like the last 30 minutes or so, and I sat outside in my car, finished this book, and immediately texted my friend who read this book, and I was like, there's no way that this is happening. And I was like texting her as things were happening, and I was like, what is happening? What is going on? There's no way that this, what is happening? What that's how I was acting. It was so good. This was a fantastic thriller. It's kind of got like a little bit of horror in it, but it's mostly, I want to say, thriller. But it was so good. I'm not going to say too much because I think that you should go in completely blind to this book. I did, and I had the best time, and it is one of my favorite thrillers. If anybody asks me for a thriller recommendation, I recommend that book because it is that good. Broken Bonds. The entire series is 5 stars to me. I don't know what is in this book. I don't know what is in this series. It is like crack. Okay? I don't know. I listened to all 6 books when I had COVID one week and I worked from home, and I literally listened to all 6 books in the span of like 3 days, 4 days. It was that good. And I couldn't stop talking about the series. It is one of my favorite series. I have all of the books on my favorite shelf besides the last book. I need to go get it. But I love this series. It is so good. We're gonna put this in Bury Me with these books. I don't know if it's that good. It's that good. We're putting it there. This is my video. I make the rules. That's where it needs to go. I love this series. I don't know what is in it. Like, I really don't know what it is. But something about Ollie and something about our bonds, I am obsessed. And I can't wait to reread it because now I have all the physical books and I'm going to reread them. Okay, Kill Switch. This is the only book that I've rated 5 stars in the Devil's Night series. This book was so good. And I think it was because I was emotional. And I think it was because I wanted so much for winter in this book. This book is nuts. If I reread it, I don't know if I would give it 5 stars. But it did something to me. And I rated it 5 stars, and I am a Damon Torrance girl. And again, kind of like Bonds, I listened to the entirety of Devil's Night in like a week and was feral for that whole series. But Kill Switch is definitely my favorite and the only one I rated 5 stars. I don't know what it is. Midnight Repeated. This entire series by Danny McLean is 5 stars. They're all little short novellas. They're called the Movie Magic Novellas. There's 5 of them. I rated all of them 5 stars. They're novellas, but they're so good. You get a full story. It feels like you're so immersed in the story. They are magical realism set in this fictional town called Chance where anything can happen. They are so good. Solid 5-star books. Please read these if you need something fast, something to get out of a reading slump. There is a Valentine's novella. It's the second one. Read it. The Mind F series. This is probably the best dark romance book of all time, according to me. It is Criminal Minds meets dark romance, and I'm obsessed with it. Also, just Lana Myers. She is the baddest FMC that I've ever met, and I respect her. And if she walked into a room, I would probably bow. She's so awesome. Divine Rivals. I rated Divine Rivals 5 stars. I think I gave Ruthless Vows 4 stars or 3.5 stars. I didn't like it as much, but I loved Divine Rivals. This book was so good. I had never read anything like a historical fantasy before, and the magical typewriters, just everything in this book, I was so immersed in this when I was reading it, and I just had a really good time. So it's going in 5 stars, solid 5 stars. Oh, Akatar. I rated all of these books 5 stars besides A Court of Frost and Starlight. I did not rate that 5 stars. I want to say I rated that like 3 stars. This is going to go here because if I reread it, it would not be 5 stars because I have reread it and it wasn't 5 stars. I just didn't want to be rude and change my rating. These two are also going to go there. But this one's good. This one's a solid 5 stars. Wings and Ruin is the best book in that series. Argue with the Wall. It's the best book in the series. I will die on this hill. Just Don't Call Me Yours and I Just Want to Be Yours. These are two of my favorite indie romance books. It is a duology. It is about college students. One of them leaves college to become a rock star, and the other one is in college. It's a whole thing. They start off as across the hall, like roommate situation. It's so good. Solid 5 stars, both of them. And one of them is not better than the other. They are both solid books. And the playlist for them, I was listening to them as I was reading them. A song from the playlist would come on while I was reading these books, and it would be mentioned in the book while I was reading it. And it was the most marvelous time. It made me feel very more immersed in these books, and it was just spectacular. I loved both of them so much. I Heart You, You Haunt Me. This is from middle school. This is a ghost story. It is a paranormal romance, and it set the standard. I reread it recently, last year or 2 years ago, and it still hits to this day. This is going in Bury Me with these books because this was probably the first ever romance book that I read, and I was like, that's it. That's the book for me. You with a View by Jessica Joyce. This deals with grief so well in a romance book, but also it's just a road trip romance that is so fun and so fresh and so refreshing that it's just good. I was emotional, but it is a solid 5 star. And I loved every second of that book. Just for the Summer, this is a solid 5 star because it is a silly, goofy, fun time, but it is also emotional, much like You with a View. Abby Jimenez knows how to make you laugh on one page, make you sob the next, and I love that about her books. Just for the Summer is probably my favorite Abby Jimenez book, and I love it so, so much. I think this book found me at the perfect time when I read it, and I just love that story so much. Unsteady and Unloved. Unsteady is going in Bury Me with these books, because this book is like being seen for the first time. This book is so me. Sadie Brown in this book and me, the same person. I love this book for that. So it's going to go and Bury Me with these books because of that. And Unloved is going to go in a solid 5 star because it wasn't as good as Unsteady, but I still had a really, really good time. This is the entire Heartstopper series. I just put book 1. I love the entire series. It is so good. I read all of them in a day or two. They're graphic novels. They are romance in high school, and it's a solid 5 star. This is a solid 5 star. This is so good. I need to watch the show. I can't wait for volume 6 to come out. It is the last one. It comes out this year, this summer. and I am so excited for it. And I think this is just a series that I will come back to again and again because it is just so wholesome and I love it so much. The Dead Romantics and the 7-Year Slip. We have the Dead Romantics. This one, I was emotional because this one also deals with grief. It is a ghost story, and this feels like a very much grown-up version of this, kind of. And I really enjoyed my time, but the 7-Year Slip is better. And this also deals with grief, and this also just worked out so well during the time that I read it that it spoke to me when I read it, and I loved every second. So this is just a solid 5-star. This is too, but this one made me emotional, and I don't like it as much as the 7-Year Slip. If I reread this, I don't know if it would be 5 stars, but the 7-Year Slip will always be 5 stars to me. Next up, we have More Than Just Us by Ali Atosky. This is another indie romance. This book, much like Unsteady, I felt very seen when I read this book due to kind of what our main character goes through with her family and just the relationship that she has with her family. Just kind of the way that this book portrays being seen by your family. I felt very related to that book. So it is going in bury me with these books. I highlighted and annotated this book so deeply and so in detail because I felt so seen by this book that it's just got to go up there. It is very, very good. If you're looking for something kind of on the emotional side, kind of new adult, more leaning adult, it's a college second chance romance. It's kind of a mixture between Unsteady and The Two of Us by Taylor Torres. And both of those are up here, so perfect mix. Then we have the Boys of Tommen series. I have rated every book that I have read in this series so far 5 stars, but I have not completed the series yet. I am on Redeeming 6. My favorite in the series so far is Saving 6. These are all going up here in order. They're going in solid 5 stars. I don't think that they're quite up here because they're not on this level. To me personally, I know they are for some people, and maybe when I read Redeeming 6 or a different book in this series, one of those will go up there. Saving 6 is really close, but it's just not there yet. The Storied Life of A.J. Fickery. This book is... It kind of caught me by surprise. I didn't expect to like this book as much as I did. It's just about a guy who owns this bookstore and you follow his life, and I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. So we're going to put this in a solid 5 stars because I love when a book just catches you off guard like that. Then we have Throne of Glass. As you can see here, I have not rated every book in the Throne of Glass series 5 stars. The only ones I did rate 5 stars were Heir of Fire, Queen of Shadows, Empire of Storms, and Kingdom of Ash. My favorite in the series is actually Empire of Storms. This book is the best in the series to me. I know a lot of people's favorite is Kingdom of Ash, but I think Empire of Storms was a better written story to me personally. These are going to go up here. And this one is going to go here. I think it's 5 stars because I was so deeply connected to the series as a whole. I don't think if that was just a book by itself, like it wouldn't be, but if it was just a book by itself, I don't think I would have given it 5 stars. But because it was the end of the series and because there's just so much jam-packed into this book, I did give it 5 stars upon my read of it. I think it's got to go there. Steal My Heart. This is another indie romance by Nellie Wilson, and like curated, I just really like how this is written. It is a love letter to Appalachia, and I just loved every second of it. The romance is just pure and real, and it feels like you're watching two real people fall in love. Like, it doesn't feel like you're reading a book, it feels like you're reading a real person's love story, and I really liked that about this book, so it is going in solid 5-star. As Good as Dead, upon my read of this, I rated it 5 stars. I didn't rate either of the other books in the series a 5-star, but I really liked how this series wrapped up, and I liked how deep this specific book went. I just don't think that I would rate it 5 stars anymore. And I read this recently, but I've read better since, and I don't think that it's 5 stars anymore. So we're gonna put it there. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's still very, very good. I had such a good time. I just have read better since then. We are slowly but surely making our way through. Let's speed this up a little bit. The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. This book was my first read of last year, and it was beautiful. The writing was beautiful, the scenery was beautiful, the storytelling was beautiful. I believed it for what it was. It was heartbreaking, it was real, it was raw. It is a solid 5-star. That is where it's going. The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Also a solid 5-star. This is dark academia at its core, and if you've seen previous videos of mine, you know that me and dark academia go together like this. We are bread and butter. I love dark academia so much. This book is phenomenal and kind of set the standard for what dark academia is today, if I'm understanding correctly, and I just really had a good time reading this book.
Editing Courtney here. This just made me realize that I entirely forgot if we were villains because I'm in the middle of my reread. So it didn't pop up on my Goodreads red 5-star page because I'm currently rereading it. So I completely forgot that book, my favorite book of all time, and I completely forgot it. This would go in Bury Me with this book because if I'm going to be buried with any book, it would be that book because it is my favorite of all time. I cannot believe I forgot that book.
It is 5 stars. I can't wait to reread it and catch more. I feel like this is the type of book where I will continue to reread it for years to come and just catch more and more as the years go on every time I read this book. All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. We also have Wait For It by Mariana Zapata. These two. All Roads Lead Here, silly, goofy, fun time, because I've recently read The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. If you watched my last video, I did my recap of my January reads, and I read The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. In that video, I rated that 4.75 stars because I was picky, but I like that book more than All Roads Lead Here. So this has to go there for the sake. Wait For It, though, is a solid 5-star. This is my favorite Mariana Zapata book, and it is emotional, it has representation, and just, I love how much they care for those kids in that book. It really gets to me. Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, dark academia, fantasy, magic systems. This is just so good. I can't wait to continue the series. I don't know why I haven't yet, to be honest, because I had such a good time with this book. Beartown by Frederick Bachman, same thing. I have a lot of solid 5 stars because if I like something, I like it. Again, I am easily entertained, but Beartown, it's just about a town that loves hockey. That's really all. But it's really not, because it dives so deep into the town and into these people that live in this town and how much hockey means to them and how much winning means to them and how everything else gets overlooked because of this hockey season. It's so good. Heavenly Bodies. This is one of my favorite fantasies ever. Please bury me with this book. Alara and Enzo. I love them. I can't wait. I'm going to reread that soon so I can read Fallen Stars, because I just want to be back in that world. And it's so unique and so fantastical and so magical, and I'm just obsessed. Vicious and Vengeful. This is V.E. Schwab. This is solid 5 stars. Solid 5 stars. It is like villains and superheroes, and it's just so unique. Everything that V.E. Schwab writes is like that. So we're gonna put Barrier Bones there, but Addie LaRue is going up top because Addie LaRue deserves to go up top because of the ending. Because if there's one thing that I need is the ending of that book to be explained to me by V.E. Schwab. So that's gonna go there. Barrier Bones and these are just solid 5 stars because they're so unique, and I just am a huge fan of V.E. Schwab's writing. Enchantra, Silly Goofy Fun Time. This is not everybody's favorite, but I absolutely adored it and loved every second. And I finished it and I was like, this is a 5 star feeling. I know this is a 5 star feeling, so I'm giving it 5 stars, and I respect that decision. Bypass me because it is going to stay at 5 stars, but it was just a silly, goofy, fun time, and I can't wait to read more in this series. Yours truly by Abby Jimenez. This is also, I was emotional because it's not my favorite Abby Jimenez. I did see some problems with it, but because the ending made me so emotional, I did give it 5 stars. I don't think upon a reread it would be 5 stars, but it's Abby Jimenez. It was very good. I liked it for what it was. I gave it 5 stars. So, Daisy Jones and the Six, that, and The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, those are just solid 5 star books. There's something about the way Taylor Jenkins Reid writes historical fiction that just does it for me. And the way this is written as a documentary and the way that this is written as her telling her story in her memoir, just the uniqueness of those and the unique stories and the way that these both feel like they are real people and real like celebrity icon type, I am obsessed and I need more like this forever and ever. We're getting down to the wire, the bright years. Hey, if you've been here a while, you know that this is my favorite book of last year. This is getting buried with me. This book is probably the most emotional I've ever been reading a book, but it is so beautiful and so poetic. It's literally perfection. God of Fury. I was emotional. This is a dark romance, and there is so much representation in this that I did feel seen, but at the same time, it made me super emotional that I did rate it 5 stars upon the read. Separating myself from it for a little while, I don't know if it's necessarily 5 star material, but I did rate it 5 stars. We're going to respect the 5 star, but it did make me emotional. The Night and the Moth, again, bury me with this book. A fantastic fantasy. I think about this book all the time. I have merch for this book. I talk about the gargoyle in this book any chance that I can get. I talk about Rory. I talk about Sybil. I repost every single art that I find of this book. This is one of my favorites of all time. Then we have The Hunger Games. Catching Fire is my favorite of the original trilogy. Sunrise on the Reaping is the best. Sunrise on the Reaping, gotta go up here. This book did something to me when I read it. And now I can't think about anything relating to the Hunger Games without wanting to cry and sob and just feel all of the emotions that this book brought out of me. This is going to go and define my reading taste because it did. These set the standard, and they are setting the standard for all kinds of fantasy books. People compare any games and books to the Hunger Games, so they are the standard. And they will forever be 5 stars, and I love them immensely. But just know that they are 5 stars. Catching Fire is 6 stars, but they defined me. Problematic Summer Romance. Silly, goofy, fun time. Much like Enchantra, I just had the 5-star feeling when I read this book, and I just had such a good time. It made me enjoy reading. It made me happy that I was reading this book. I didn't want to put it down, so it is going there. But it was also just silly and fun and wholesome and goofy and Allie Hazelwood, much like the Love I About This Is. So it's going there. Betty is a solid 5-star book. This book is fiction, but it's based on true events. And just knowing that while reading this book, that's all I'm going to say because I think you need to read this book. It is so good. Storm Warning is going up here. It is a novella, so you're going to have to figure out how to do that. But I have reread this book 5 or 6 times. It is a novella. It is short, but there's just something about this book and them being literal storm chasers in the past present timeline and the romance and it being an indie book. I just feel so connected to this book because of how many times I read it and because I just love it so much. And then I usually read it and then I'll watch the Twisters movie and then it's just a whole thing because I'm just obsessed. Because I'm just a nerd for tornadoes. And Rebel Witch, I think we're gonna put this here because I did really like Heartless Hunter, but it wasn't 5 stars. But I did really like Rebel Witch and I rated it 5 stars upon my read. But the ending and the way that they just found each other and chose each other, 5 stars. It's very emotional, but it's also very like empowering emotional. So it's gonna go there. Left to Forever is also going in Bury Me with this book because one of the best romances, if not the best romance I have ever read. Second Chance. I poured my heart and soul into reading this book last year and annotating it, flipping through the pages. Literally, I would go back and reread chapters because they just spoke to me so, so much. This is much like You Deserve Each Other. It's the first book I've found that's like You Deserve Each Other, almost. So that's why it's got to go up here. Two Twisted Crowns. Solid 5 star. Arguably could go in emotional because I did not want to let these characters go so bad. But it is a solid 5 star. The uniqueness of this book, the Providence cards, the magic system, it is just so amazing. And Rachel Gillig is incredibly talented in writing. Heated Rivalry. Heated Rivalry is a silly, goofy, fun time, but it is a 5 star. It is a 6 star book. Argue with a Well. And just the hype around it and being in the hype with everyone while reading it made it even more so a 5 star book. It will always be a 5 star. Heated Rivalry, you will always be famous. Anxious People, solid 5 star. This book caught me off guard too. I didn't expect to like this as much as I liked Beartown, but I did. I did like this as much as Beartown. And it just caught me off guard for that reason. And just the way that this explains mental health and just the way that everybody is going through their own life problems and everybody just has their own issues is explained so well in this book, and it really makes you look at the bigger picture, and I really liked that. We Who Will Die is also a solid 5 star. It's my most recent 5 star. This fantasy is so good. Vampires, gladiators, it is just amazing, and I had such a good time reading it. It made me want to pick up more fantasy. It made me want to start the entire book over again. And finally, The Raft by S.A. Bodine. This defined my reading taste. This is from middle school, and it is probably the first ever book that I rated 5 stars. This or Fault in Our Stars or The Hunger Games. These are all like around the same time. And this is a psychological thriller, and it haunts me to this day. I have it up there. I haven't reread it since my first read of it. And that is it. Here is the entire tier rank of my 5 star reads. Bury me with these books. lots of solid 5 stars because, again, I'm easily entertained and I know what I like. Silly, goofy, fun time, which we always need from time to time. Emotional, which a lot of these are classified as that, but I need to be buried with those. Defined my reading taste, and the old me. And that is it for tier ranking. That is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please be sure to like and subscribe. It helps me out so much. Comment below any of your 5-star reads that you need to be buried with because they're that good, and I'll have to check those out. And I'll hopefully see you guys in my next video real soon. Bye, guys.